hello. Thank you for saying hello. Good to have you with us. All right. Now this evening, a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I did a session on pricing, what to look at when you're pricing up your bakes. And I decided that I needed a separate session for what I'm going to do this evening, because it needed a little bit of time spent on it. And that is the calculating of overheads, things that go across all your products and aren't specific to one. So, for example, your ingredients, you can work out exactly what a product has ingredient-wise, and a box and all those kind of bits. But it's the other things that it takes a little bit more time to work out. So we're doing that this evening. So this evening we are thinking about pricing overheads, calculating overheads. You can use some of this for your tax self-assessment as well, what you can claim for. But you can also use it for working out what to add on to each product to cover your overheads. And we'll come to that as we come to that. Okay. So, hello, Tracy. Hello, Tracy. Yes, I am well, thank you. I'm very hot, but I'm well, thank you. We have a few more people. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you here. So, overheads. So these are amounts, as I've just said, that aren't specifically to one product, but they're things that are general. So you need a way to be able to proportion them up to everything that you sell, so that when you do sell, you know that your overheads are covered. Okay, so I'm going to show you this evening how I do mine. Now, there are two types, really. There's your home ones, because I presume that most of you are baking from home. So there's your home overheads, and those are a bit more tricky because you have to work out how much of that is your business and how much of that is your domestic, personal use. But I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll show you how I do that. And then you've got your business overheads, which you don't proportion out because that's all for your business, but you still have to divide it up between your products. Okay. So I've got an Excel spreadsheet here, which I'm going to share with you. So I might sort of come in and out of it depending, because I want to use my whiteboard. Once a teacher, always a teacher. I do love a whiteboard, except she's got a wonky leg, so it might well fall over. So just bear with me. All right. So I've got an Excel spreadsheet. Now, what I'm actually going to do, those that have bought my pricing course, I'm going to put this spreadsheet that I'm about to show you on that, so you can download your own copy of it. So if after this session you'd like a copy of the spreadsheet, you can just go to my pricing course and buy the course, and it'll all be in there in one package. Okay, and I'll also put the video of how I'm using it in there as well, so that you've got both the things. This video will still go in the guides and it will still go on my YouTube channel, but the spreadsheet, only people that buy my course will actually be able to download a copy of it. Okay, because I do have a mortgage to pay. Right, so let's show you my spreadsheet. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, now you can't see the cursor, I've realized, but you can see the boxes as I highlight them. Okay, so as we go through this, do shout if anything's if I've not made anything clear or you've lost where we are or whatever, and I will try and catch you up, and I'll try and explain. The first bit's fairly moderately easy to understand. It's when we get down to the unit sales bit that it gets a little bit more hairy. That's when the board comes in. But don't worry, I will hold your hand all the way through it. This is why I like Excel spreadsheets, or you can use Google Docs as well, which are very similar, because they do all the working out for you. And if you do need to change anything, for example, your power, your energy, when that goes up, unfortunately, when it does, you can just put another amount in there and it'll change everything else. Okay. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to look at house-based costs here. And I'm doing this monthly. You can do it monthly, you can do it weekly, you can do it yearly, annually, as long as you're doing it consistently through this spreadsheet. It doesn't really matter how you do it. I just do it monthly because it just makes life slightly easier for me. But just remember that all your figures need to be proportioned. So, for example, I know at the moment that I'm paying £195 a month for my electricity. My home insurance, I pay that by direct debit. If you paid all of that in one go when it's due, just take that amount, obviously, and divide it by 12. So you've got what it would be a month. Yeah, you get that, don't you? So home insurance, council tax, you can put down there. That's also tax deductible, water. And you can also, if you've got a mortgage, you can put what your interest is. You can't put the actual mortgage payment, but you can put the interest. Or if you rent, you can put your rent in there. Okay. So those are mine. So that's £490.49. I'm going to obviously need to change that when it does change. But hopefully this evening, as I've gone through this, you'll see that even if that goes up quite a bit, you won't need to hike your prices up enormously. And you'll hopefully see by the end why I say that. Okay, so you've taken all your home-based costs that are partly personal, but you can claim some for business. And that is mine there. What we do next is we look at our house and we look at all the rooms that we use. Now, we don't count bathroom or toilet in this, but in my house, mine's a fairly average sort of 3-bed semi. So I've got kitchen, dining room, living room. My office is actually my 3rd bedroom. Just about gets a bed in here. Bed 1 and bed 2. Laura, it can be claimed as a tax expense. Yes, it can. So that's why it's there. Yes. What I'll do is I'll put the HMRC link to everything you can claim, so you can see from the HMRC website that you can claim that. Okay. In fact, let's just jot that down because I'll forget otherwise. So HMRC link. Okay, I'll put that up at some point. Okie dokie. So what we've got here is our different rooms. Okay. Yeah, no problem, Laura. I can do that for you. Now, what I've done here is I have taken my total of what it costs me a month. So it's £490 a month. And I've divided that between my 6 rooms. Okay. We don't sort of proportion how much you just divide it into the 6 rooms. So if you've got 4 bedrooms, you'd obviously add another one. If you've got a conservatory, you'd add that. So you divide it. Now, if you're an Excel person, you understand Excel. Can you see up here? I've divided that by 6. Okay. And what I've done is I've taken that and I've divided it by 6. If you were adding another one, you'd change that to 7. If you're an Excel person, you'll hopefully get that. So each room is £81.75 on mine. Okay. Now, what we do now is we work out the percentage of use that is business. How much of the usage that room gets is down to business. Okay. Now, my biggest one by far is this room here. I'm in here a lot of the time. So of the time I use this room, 95% of it is business. Okay. Just a quick word of warning, don't ever put 100% down, because if you use a space solely and exclusively for your business, it does all sorts of weird things with HMRC, and it can be classed as business rates, a business asset, all those kind of things. It's very long and complicated, so don't ever put 100% down. So that's why I've got 95% there. Okay, because I do a couple of other things, I print domestic things where I might just sit and read or whatever. So 95% of the time I'm in here is business. So I'm saying 95% of that, which is that. I hope that makes sense. Kitchen, actually, I don't use my kitchen that much because I'm not in it all the time. I do perhaps on average 1 wedding cake a week. Perhaps even a bit less than that if I average it over the year. So when I actually think about the time I'm actually baking, I worked out that it was just 20% of the time. So 20% of that 81 is £16.35. My dining room, I do use a little bit of the time because I use my dining table to do some bits and pieces. So I put 5% for that. Okay. I don't do any work in the living room or in either of the bedrooms. Okay, so there's 0. So I have proportioned my time there. So it comes to my monthly business use is £98.10 of all those things. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Do shout if something doesn't make sense. Then I put down, these are separate because broadband and mobile phone aren't room dependent. Okay. So my broadband, I pay £29 a month, but I reckon 75% of that is work related. Okay. I do have a daughter that uses internet, my broadband for things, I use it for streaming on the TV, that kind of thing, but there's quite a bit of it. So 75% of that. So I claim £21.75 a month for broadband, and my mobile phone, around half of that I've put down. Okay. So this box here is my total home costs. That's my total overheads in a month, £137.35. Okay. Now, for the sake of this example, I'm just going to leave it at that. What I actually do, because I have my wedding cakes, I have my home baking business, and I have my subscription box, I do actually do more calculating with that, but I won't confuse things by doing that. We'll just leave it at that for this evening. Okay, because it doesn't really make a difference. You'll see how it all works without me doing that. So my house-based costs monthly, I can charge £137.35 to my business. Okay. Now, for my business-based costs, obviously everything on here is all claimable for my business. So my website, insurance, that's business insurance. Remember, house insurance comes up here because it's not solely for your business. A proportion of that will be domestic. Okay. But my business insurance is there. Web domains, email address, advertising. I've worked out what those are monthly. In fact, there are quite a few more, but I've just kept it as that because you can then see the example. If you want to add more, then you can. By the way, if you're buying this spreadsheet, on the calculator, there are more rows that you can add things if you need to. Okay. So those are my monthly costs. I then put home costs. So that box there equals that box there. So whatever that is that. Okay. So my total a month there, sounds a lot, but bear with me, is 239, let's say £240, because 240 is a great number to do all the dividing with in a minute. Okay. So in a month, I have to make sure that my products cover that. that when I price my products, I make sure that that £240 is charged as overheads. Okay. Now, where it says unit sales here, I'm going to come off the Excel spreadsheet because I'm going to use my board and explain this. Okay. So let's get rid of that. Hello again. Okay, sorry, it's a bit gloomy in here. I don't think I can. No, it's a bit glary. Oh, there's a lovely sunset out there. Oh, okay. So here we go for the next bit. It's the dividing up. So let's say we've got £240 a month. Okay. We have to share that £240 amongst everything that we make in a month. Okay. As I say, you can do it weekly if you want to, but monthly just makes a little bit more sense. So you have to work out on average what you sell in a month. Okay. If you're just starting out, this is where your sales targets will help you. This is what I aim to sell in a month. Okay. If you've been going a little bit longer, you can have a look at what you sell and say, okay, average is about that. Okay. Now, if, let's say, and I'm just going to go through a few silly examples here just to make the point. If you sell one cake a month, or let's say one treat box. Let's draw a treat box there. That's a treat box. If you only sell one, you'd have to add £240 to that treat box to cover your overheads. Okay. That's silly. Of course it's silly. I'm just making an example. Okay. So you know that you've got to sell much more than that. Okay. If you sell 100 treat boxes, you're going to divide that 240 by 100. So you've got to add £2.40 to your costing to cover your overheads. Yes? I hope that makes sense. Now, this is based on the fact that all your products are roughly the same price. If, let's say you had a treat box and you had a birthday cake. That's a birthday cake there. That's 2 items, but you wouldn't divide it by 2, would you? Because actually your birthday cake is going to cost a lot more than your treat box. Does that make sense? So this is where we start to get into what I've called units. So let's say, just for argument's sake, and it doesn't matter what price you actually put on this for this, because you're just proportioning it. Let's just say your treat box was 20. Okay. Let's say your birthday cake on average was 100. Okay. Your birthday cake, is going to be 5. Is the same as 5 treat boxes, isn't it? Yes. So if in a month you sell 100 treat boxes, but you also sell perhaps 1 birthday cake a week, so that's 4 birthday cakes. Your 4 birthday cakes actually are the same as 20 treat boxes, aren't they? Because each birthday cake is 5. See, I told you it'd be maths this evening. Each birthday cake is 5, so 5 4s, that would actually be 20. Okay. So that is 100 units. That is actually 20 units. So altogether, you've got 120 units. Right. So when you're costing, when you're pricing, okay, you're dividing 240 by 120. So 1 unit equals £2. So for a treat box is just the one unit. So a treat box, you're going to add on that £2. For your birthday cake, that is actually worth 5 of those. So your overheads for your cake are £10. So that's what you've got to add. So it's all to do with knowing what you sell, or knowing what you aim to sell in a month, and dividing that overhead cost up into equal amounts so that you're spreading that cost evenly across everything that you sell. Okay. So to add £2 to a treat box and add £10 to a birthday cake, that's about right. Yeah. You wouldn't want to add £10 to a birthday cake and £10 to a treat box, because that would be disproportionate. And then your treat box prices would be quite high then in comparison. Okay. So it's all to do with dividing it up. Now, I make wedding cakes, which is a lot easier because I'm not dealing with such big numbers. So if I come back to my spreadsheet here, actually, see, I've put 120 in there, which actually comes at 199, but it's about 2, isn't it? Now, with my wedding cakes, let's say, now, because I average over a year, because obviously May, June, July, August, and actually this year, September, I'm having more. I try not to do any in January, February. I'll give myself a break then. I might do some November, December, but I have to average over a year. So roughly in a year, let's say I do 25, 30 cakes, let's say 30 cakes over the year. No, let's make it 36 because that's easy to divide by 12. So 36 cakes over the year on average. So that's 3 a month on average. So my units are going to be 3. I want to divide my monthly cost by 3. So when I'm pricing my wedding cakes, as well as all the ingredients and my time and all that, this, that, and the other, I know I have to add, well, that's roughly £80 for my overheads, all those little bits and pieces. Okay. And that's how I do it. Actually, this bit is the more straightforward bit. The more complicated bit is the dividing it all up bit, is this bit. Okay, but don't get too hung up on this bit. Just think about your main seller. What's the thing you sell most of? Okay. So I use treat boxes because I know a lot of you do those, and delivery boxes and those kind of things. And those are generally slightly smaller priced than birthday cakes. Okay. So think on average how many you sell in a month, and make sure you divide that monthly sum evenly across everything you sell. Whether it's, as I said before, whether it's what you know you've sold before, or what it's your target to sell. The difficult thing is knowing how many you need to sell. Well, this is where sales targets come in, okay, which is a whole other session. But it's a question of, right, I've got to sell 100 treat boxes and 4 birthday cakes in a month. So what am I going to do to make sure I do that? Where am I going to advertise? Again, it comes back down to ideal clients, isn't it? Who are the people that I want to buy my things? Where am I going to show them that these are for sale? Okay. What am I going to do? Am I going to put advertising in? You see, I've included advertising in my overheads. So if you're doing some paid advertising, put that in your overheads. Okay. Then it gets paid for over your products. Okay. This is why it's really important that you know all your costs and you know how many you are selling, and you look back and you evaluate how many you are selling. So it's not just a case of sitting there crossing your fingers and thinking, oh, let's hope for a lot this month. Actually have a number whereby you will cover your overheads and start to make a profit. Okay. And then think, right, how am I going to sell that many? What do I need to do? It might be that you decide to go to markets. I mean, you could probably sell treat boxes at a market if you've got people coming to you. Yeah. Say, where are you going to advertise? Are you going to do a freebie giveaway and hopefully get, whatever it is you're going to do? If your sales targets are down in a month, think why, evaluate why. What is it you've got to do? Now, the summer months, I've seen quite a few people in the group say, oh, well, your order's down. Summer months always are. It's hot and people are on holiday. Two main reasons why people don't want cake. They don't want chocolatey treats. So don't worry about it. Just put it into your overall strategy that August isn't a high selling month. Okay. But make sure that you have your, if you're Halloween selling, if you're Christmas selling, that you put a lot of effort into those months to make up for any dip you have in the summer months. Okay. As a wedding cake baker, my summer months are the ones where I do get, because obviously weddings are mainly in the summer. So it depends what you're baking and who you're baking it for. But it's really important to have that overview of when you're likely to sell lots. So Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, those kind of places, are you going to aim to get quite a few sales? And look at the times when, I might not get so many here because there aren't any holiday, say August, it's hot, people are on holiday, yada, yada, yada. Not going to get many sales, but I'll make up for it in the other months. Okay, so it evens out over the year. Okay. So I hope that's been useful. I hope it's not been complete cobblers because I understand it. I hope you do too. If you do have any questions about it, do pop them in the group. But say the basic thing is that you take all your numbers, you work out what your monthly figure is that you've got to cover, and then you divide that up into your products, across your products, so you know that as you sell, you are covering those overheads. Okay, mind blown. It is a bit, but this is why, when we get posts in the group, when you're starting up, I completely get, pricing is such a difficult thing. And you might put a picture up, how much would you charge for this? As you can see, it's quite complicated. And what one person charges is going to be different. Your overheads, your energy bills, your insurance, your rent, your mortgage, all those kind of things. You can see why everyone's pricing is going to be different, because you're going to have different overheads. Okay. And if you just base your pricing on a figure you've plucked out the air, or a figure that you've taken from someone else because that's what they charge, or you're undercutting someone else, you might actually find in the long run that you're not covering your overheads, so you're not making any profit, which is not good. You are here to make a profit. Good. Oh, I'm glad you found it useful. But it does take a bit of time. It took me a while with my spreadsheet to, and I had to go through and I had to check all the amounts. So you need to give yourself an afternoon where you just do this. Okay, at least an afternoon. And you can revisit it. Let me show you as well. I was talking earlier about, if prices go up. So let's put 120 back in here. Okay. So what you're doing is you're adding £2 per thing that you sell according to your sales targets. Okay. Now, if we go back up here, because all this is linked together, let's say your energy bill goes up. Let's put in a really mind-blowing figure. So let's say that my energy bill goes from 195 I don't think it'll go quite this far, but let's put in 500. Okay. Now look at what it's changed per unit. It's only gone up 50p per unit. So you're not having to overprice or up your prices so much that you're pricing yourself out of anything. Okay. That if you're selling 120 things a month, it's only an extra 50p you need to cover that extra. Okay. Yeah, obviously a lot of that extra power, gas and electric is your private domestic use. But you're going to cover your business costs if you do it that way. Okay. Let's put it back because I don't like looking at 500 there. Okay. So hopefully that has given you some idea and why it's so important. I can't stress enough how important it is to work out your figures properly and to know exactly how your pricing breaks down and what you are actually pricing for. Okay. Because you, as I said during the pricing session, the one that I did a few weeks ago, I gave an example of selling at a market stall and thinking that you've done really well with one product, but actually when you look at the profit of that product, it's far smaller than the product that you sold less of. Watch the session. You'll get it once you watch the session. But it's when you're started a business and you're not used to doing this, I found it really difficult to start with. It's a really difficult thing to get your head around, but you need to spend time to get to know your figures, spend some time with them, you know, get to know them. And then you can be more comfortable and then you can work out your sales figures. Right, I've got to try and sell this many. What am I going to do? And it all comes into your overall strategy, which is what a business is all about. Much as I would love to, you know, just skip around baking things and just bunging any old price on it because it's easier that way. You can't run a business like that. You've got to know your figures. And hopefully this will help you to know your figures. Okie dokie. So there we are. So what I'm going to do this evening, hopefully this evening, if not tomorrow morning, anyone that has actually bought my pricing course, this video where I've shown you all this and the spreadsheet is going to be added to the website that you have access to when you buy the course. So you can download the spreadsheet and use that. I will put this video in the guide so you can still see the video. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. So again, you can still see the video. But if you want the spreadsheet, you'll need to go to the course. Oh, where are we? There it is. So if you go to my website, course information, if you go on there and scroll down, you'll find it, or you can put hashtag pricing and it'll take you straight to the bit. It's £15. That's all. For the original video and this video, and then the two spreadsheets. So you get the other one that does all the ingredients and things, and then you'll get this one that does all the overheads. Okie dokie. You can buy that straight away, but say this video and the spreadsheet won't be available probably till tomorrow lunchtime. Because my brain's gone a bit addled now and I'm not sure I'll get it up there tonight. And I haven't had my tea yet either. But I will do that by tomorrow morning. Okie dokie. So if you have any questions, you can get one in quick if you're quick now, because it's 8:05 already. If not, if you think of something afterwards or you're trying to work things out and you're coming unstuck, pop it in the group. Please don't message me. I find it really difficult to answer private messages. Just put it in the group, tag me in, and then when I answer, everyone gets the benefit of it. There are also lots of financial people in the group as well that will be able to help if I can't. So pop it in the group. You're much better off putting it in the group. Okie dokie. So there we are. You can go and lie down in a darkened room now with a cold flannel on your head. Don't let it put you off your business, though. Please, please, please don't be scared of it. All you need to do is just get into it a little bit and know your figures, be comfortable with them, and then you'll be fine. Okay, don't let it put you off, because, you know, it's a great thing running a business. It's just a question of just persevering, getting certain skills under your belt, and then you're away. Then you know what you're doing then. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Righto then, everybody. Have a lovely week. I'm not sure what I'm doing this week. My brain's addled. I'm a bit addled at the moment. If you saw my email last week, you'll know that I'm a bit addled at the moment. But hey, we just carry on, don't we? But I will see you next week. I think I'm doing a demo next week. I love the demos. I think next week I'm going to show you how to make some autumn leaves to put on cakes. That'd be rather nice, wouldn't it? A nice demo. Let's hope that it's not so hot next week, because everything will wilt. Okie dokie then, my lovelies. Thank you for joining me. Oh, let's get rid of that. Hang on. There we go. Thank you for joining me. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next week. Bye.